Wengen.
Because it's like because my name is Scott, so yeah, every language has a name. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Tell us a little bit about Wengen, tour guide Neil.
Wengen was built in the 1400s after the Great War of Wengen-Auschmein. It came with flying monkeys and goats of steel and flame.
There's a train.
Neil, what the fuck are you talking about?
He's doing a documentary on Wengen for me.
The history of Wengen.
Alright.
And yeah, there was a bloody battle up here, and he usurped the great Khan.
Why aren't they dancing?
And,
They're just not cool.
yeah, ever since then there's been a monument to his victories in this town of Wengen. The buildings are originals from the 1400s. They haven't been upholstered or anything. Such was the skill of the flying monkeys in their trade.
They have done a very good job.
I thought so too. See, little do people know, but a lot of modern architecture is based on these works.
I've learned so much.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me some stuff about this place. Give me a wee bit of a documentary.
Right, back in 1876, Avignon was besieged by Vikings.
Wow.
Right, yeah.
I thought the Vikings
these
were
are all.
before that.
This is all Viking war paint. Right, and this is how graffiti was invented. Right, graffiti is actually Norwegian.
Also, if you haven't noticed, how
death.
the 18 came about.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the inspiration
That
behind the
actually
18.
means victory.
Yeah. Anarchy as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, so this, there you go, that's the roots of how graffiti is invented. It's a Viking term.
So it's a Viking term. I didn't know Vikings were still about in the 19th century. I thought they were.
See, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm a teacher.
So they besieged it and they took over it and they created war paint and all that sort of jazz.
Yeah, but then 10 or so years later, they got bored and they went, wait a minute, this was rubbish. There's no like places to big massive Viking boats in there. So they said, we're going to leave, and they gave it back to the French. And the French were like, oh, fair enough. Cheers.
So did they sail up the river? Did they sail up the river? Yeah.
It's too warm for them as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, they like their big hats and furry cloaks, don't they? So I can imagine. Wow, that's history lesson number 2 from Neil, and they've both been very, very interesting so far. No doubt he'll be exquisite in Rome and very drunk in Prague. So we're in Avignon today, as you can tell. This is a city that was stormed by the Vikings, as Neil said, in 1876. It's a walled city. It was stormed by the Vikings under the rule of King Jimjom, who is the person you can see in the statue in front of us, in the golden statue. I'll talk more about that later. So we're going into the town just now, or the city. Nothing has changed since the Vikings have stormed it. They've deliberately kept it entirely intact as it was that day. So everything in the entire city itself is exactly the same as it was. All the shops on either side of the road here, exactly the same. The cars, the van there has been there since 1876. Vikings invented the cars not long before Henry Ford did, so not many people know that. It's one of the things we're trying to enlighten to people, and the buildings and the people have been here since 1876 as well. They all look very young. It's because they've got a lot of olive oil in their diet. Now, the Vikings were barbaric, as we know, but they had more than just the sword and the axe. This, on the right hand side, was one of their weapons, that they could freeze people in paint for all of eternity. This is how they were caught when the Vikings seized the city, and how they will remain until, well, the end of the world. They could also put people into stone. It's quite often that you'll find in places like this, sculptures aren't actually sculpted. They've been murdered into existence. But they did a lot for the city as well. They've brought a lot of tourism to it in the modern day times. This is the castle of Jimjom you can see in the background there. And that is what everyone sort of comes here to see. They all want to see the castle of Jimjom. We're on our way there just now. thousands of tourists flock to it every year, just to be in the presence of it, for more reasons than one, but I'll touch on them later as well. Now the castle itself, as you can see, King Jim John was a modest man. He only built what he needed. He didn't build anything slightly over the top. It's very adequate for his purposes. He had a lot of power and influence at the time as well, which is why he could make such statues of himself like the golden one we can see here. Many people think it's actually modelled on the Virgin Mary or Jesus Christ, but it's not. It's King Jim John himself. Now, a lot of the modern day representations of Jesus are actually based on King Jim Jim as well. That's another one of the facts we're trying to let people know about. But one of the other reasons that people come to Avignon is because of its supernatural aspects. A lot of people, and there's proof to this as well, which I'll show you later on, but a lot of people believe that there's ghosts of the Vikings and the Vikings' victims that wander the city. They wander around the halls of the castle at night, and you can see evidence of this, which is undeniable evidence, yet it seems to be hushed up a bit. They try and sweep it under the carpet and pretend that it's not there, but it is there. We'll see examples of this. This is the effect that it has on the town. This is night time. Obviously, it's they're slightly more abundant, the apparitions at night time, and you can see the effect that it has on the people in the town. The streets are deserted, no one about, a couple of lights on, and this is only 5 o'clock in the evening. There's a couple of lights on, people are still awake, but most people are far too afraid to go out at this time of night. This is actually one of the hot spots for the apparitions. It's an archway. It's called the Archway of Death. But you'll see the effect that it has on tourists as well. I mean, these are the tourists that have come to see it. They're delirious with the presence that they're feeling. You can tell by them. All rational thought and rational actions go straight out of their mind, and they're forced to dance. This boy might have been possessed by something. This is actually Professor Christie, and he's been terribly affected by these presences, as you can see in front of you. Now this is the evidence I was telling you about. These aren't in fact electric lights, these are apparitions as well. But you'll see an example of the effect that it has on tourists. These people walking back from there, slightly shaken by the presence. You can see terror in their eyes. But that's enough in Avignon. We'll leave it at that, and we'll join you guys next time we come out.